Hey guys, how you doing? Yeah, let's look at the stats here. Survey on Stack Overflow. So we have years of coding professionally. 51,833 respondents. So let's see what we got here. So less than 1 year, 3.8% of people on Stack Overflow have been coding less than 1 year. 1 to 4 years, 28%. 5 to 9 years, 27%. I'm rounding it off. 10 to 14, 16%. 15 to 19, 8.94. Let's go on. So I'm right down here. I'm a 2% a coder. I'm a 2%er coder. Of course, I don't use Stack Overflow anymore. So that's an interesting data point, right? You kind of see that the concentration of developers are between 1 to 14 years. That's the focus, I suppose, or the concentration, yeah. Years of professional coding experience by developer type. That's interesting. So we see people with 17 years, I guess on average, or more. They're senior executive, C-suite, VP, etc. Yeah, so that's what I talk about. I think I've mentioned this before. When you are a developer, you're going to have to make a choice about where you want to take your career. Now, I have some friends of mine who are still coders. They're kind of like project managers or developers. You know, the average developer, embedded application device coder, I guess if I read this data properly, has about 13 years of experience. But I know people with much longer experience than that, and they're still coding. They like it. They like what they do. If you decide to ever get into a senior role, first of all, this is limited. There's only so many VPs you can have. But it's a different game. You're not going to be coding anymore. You're going to be managing projects, managing people. It's a different skill set. But you have to have coding experience, some good coding experience to get into the C-suite, the VP area of things, because otherwise you won't be able to lead people properly. So anyway, that's interesting. So you can go, I'll put a link to this page so you can take a look, although you can just look it up on Google. You can see all the different types of nerds on Stack Overflow, and you can see their years of experience depending on their role. So yeah, years of professional coding experience by developer type. So we'll say type. You're seeing the added designer. Database administrator, 13 years. Anyway, there you go. So that's an interesting stat. Let's move down. Developer type, full stack, back end, front end, and desktop developers continue to account for the majority of all respondents. We asked about cloud infrastructure engineering for the first time this year. Almost 9% classify themselves as this type of developer. Developers are wearing multiple hats, something I've talked about for so long now. The majority of respondents said that they consider themselves to be more than one type of developer, with DBAs, SREs, and security professionals reporting the most variety. On average, each of these roles reported being 7 other developer types. Wow. So, people on Stack Overflow, pretty good survey, 61,000 respondents. Almost 50% are full stack developers. Then you got 43.38%, which are back-end, front-end people, quite a few less, 25.96%. This is consistent with my own experience in the world. I think, especially if you're freelancing, you need to have a flexibility of skill sets. So that means being full stack is huge because you can do front-end, back-end jobs, full stack jobs. A lot of small jobs, especially in the freelance space, you have to essentially be a full stack developer. Now, keep in mind, being a full stack developer in the freelance game for small size businesses is probably very different from being full stack developer for very large organizations in terms of the stacks that you use, in terms of the underlying technologies that you use, protocols, etc. The DevOps specialist, only 10%. Mobile developer, again, see mobile developer is 12.45%. And between full stack, back end, and front end, which is basically, this is all web, What's that? At 80, 90? Well, hold on. That doesn't make sense. I guess people are having multiple roles because over 100%. So you see, anyway, you see by far and away, the web dominates, right? It's right here. The web dominates, right? It's huge. And a big drop off is desktop and enterprise. Enterprise means very large organizations. Something I always tell people, don't make the mistake of looking at the jobs at the FANGs and these big, huge organizations, because they account for 20% of the jobs, typically speaking, in the broader economy. Most of the work for developers are for small, medium-sized business. So anyway, the web dominates. That's why I teach the web. It gives you the widest variety of opportunity. Mobile development, look at how small that is, only 12%. Again, I got into trouble a few years ago where I said, Swift development is going down. And it was a little facetious, but it was pointing out to the fact that as a, am I recording? All right. As a developer, most of the work is for even mobile development is going to be actually web-based, PWAs and so on. So yeah, so mobile DevOps, student, that's interesting. Cloud infrastructure, database system admin, developer embedded application devices, that's like C++ stuff. Project manager, designer, anyway, you get the idea. So, as the data points out, with, querying 61,000 people, it's all about web. Although it could be that web developers are constantly asking questions, and people down here don't typically go to Stack Overflow to get their questions answered. That's also a relevant possibility. Top 10 countries, well, at least Stack Overflow users: United States, India, Germany, United Kingdom, Canada, 3%. Brazil, Poland, Netherlands, Spain. All right. Demographics. Let's see what's going on here. 46 of professional developers are 24 to 35 years old, but we see that more than half of the respondents learning to code are 18 to 24. So we do have some coders in the geezer range. Very few here. Yeah, because coders, if you manage your money properly, you have basic financial skills, and you start investing when when you're beginning in the game, you start saving, investing, FU money, buying ETFs, don't do stupid stuff. You can retire here, That's why it drops off, because all of a sudden a lot of people, when they hit this age, they're able to retire. Boom. And right here, a huge amount retire. That's why you see the percentage of active developers in this age range, they're gone. It's not like they can't find work, and I think a lot of them just retire. There's always exceptions. I'm sure some people can't find work, but I think the vast majority, from my experience, most of my friends who are developers most of their career, they retired in this range. That's for sure. So there you go. That's what it is. That's pretty cool. Gender. Whoa. There we go. If you're looking to date at the workplace, and it's not going to be a good balance for you as a man. But if you're a woman, if you want to pick up nerds, it's the place to be. All right. Ooh, transgender. Wow. So it's a very small percentage of the population. Sexual orientation. There we go. Yeah. That's interesting. Race, ethnicity. White, European, Indian, Asian, Hispanic, Latino, Middle Eastern, South American, African, Black. That's interesting. White Europeans love the code, I guess. Indians too. I guess again, this is just on Stack Overflow. And 69,000 respondents. Disability status. 1.7% are blind. Neodiversity. I don't know what any of this is. All right, so there you go. I thought that would be interesting to look at stats. The stats give you some insight into what the market is all about. It also gives you some insight in terms of the career, as we pointed out. I hope you found this video useful. If you have any other questions, you know how to reach me. Just comment below. And if you're interested in my bootcamp, This is my bootcamp. You can recognize this guy here. And this is basically my interactive training platform and bootcamp. It's unique because you learn not only how to code like a professional, but you also learn how to think like a professional developer, how to get jobs, how to freelance if you want, and so much more. It's very comprehensive. Check it out, UncleSteph.com. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.